everybody, it's Outdoor Verb and
Outdoor Johnny.
Outdoor Johnny. And today we're making apple pie filling. So I figured out a couple years ago that I can make apple pie filling.
Apple pie too. Excuse me, outdoor. Thanks. Hey Mom, you missed this part.
Here, look at it. I figured out a couple years ago that I could make apple pie filling.
Apple pie.
From scratch.
For scratch.
For a quarter of the price that I can buy it at the store. So anytime we see the apples on sale, we go ahead and we buy
apple pie.
I probably bought 25 apples this time, and I'll make somewhere between a double and a triple batch of apple pie filling. And I'll show you guys how to do that here in a little bit. Right now we've got 10 apples left to peel, and Outdoor Johnny's gonna help me finish peeling them up. And I wanted to show you how to include your children when you do something like this. So apples are pretty soft, and for this recipe, it doesn't matter how beautiful the apples are cut. You just kind of need them cut about the way you would have them in an apple pie filling, but they can be all different sizes. So I give Johnny a bread knife, or a butter knife, which won't cut him, most likely. And he cuts in the pieces, and then we just mix his pieces in with my pieces, and it's perfectly fine because it's a rustic recipe, and that's the way it's supposed to be, and he gets to enjoy cooking with Mom. Right.
Right.
Right. All right, so we're gonna finish filling these, and then we'll be back in just a few minutes, and I will show you the next step. So the next step in making apple pie filling is you have to blanch all your apples. And you have to do it small batches at a time. This is one of those things, I'm gonna murder you. This is one of those things that you just have to stick with and do. So you put your apples in boiling water for a minute, and then you put them over here, and I have this pot set up, and it's got ice in it, and the apples will cool down almost instantly. And it tells you to use like a slotted spoon. I think the slotted spoon is a waste of time. It doesn't work as fast. I have one of these little wire strainers, and that works much faster, and you can get a 3-pack on Amazon for like $6. So that's what I would go with. And we have to do all of these apples. So when I get done with that, then we'll come back and we will make the apple pie filling. Okay. So you have all of our apples blanched. They're sitting over here in some ice water getting happy. And in here, I've already put the dry ingredients. So you've got sugar and clear gel, which is this stuff, cinnamon and nutmeg. My family likes a lot of cinnamon, so I double the recipe for the cinnamon. And then that was unsweetened apple juice, and this is just some cold water. And now we have to stir it, and you have to stir constantly because this will burn, and it will burn very fast. Very fast. You stir it until it boils, and then we're gonna add some lemon juice. This is not my recipe. This is the Fall Canning Book Guide to Preserving recipe. It's pretty simple to follow. The directions are really pretty clear, but I know some people prefer to see it before they try to attempt it. I've doubled this recipe. I've tripled this recipe before. Today it's just doubled. But your first time canning it, you should just do it as the recipe is written. That way you don't have to worry about messing up. But if you're comfortable with it, then you can go ahead and triple. Sometimes if you have big enough pots, you have to have the big pots. You can go bigger than that if you want. I get all of my big heavy duty pots except for my pressure canner pot. I got them in Canton at the trade market, at the trade days, but you can find them at flea markets all the time. And then they're not quite as expensive as they are on Amazon. And then you need to strain your apples. You're trying to get as much water out of them as possible. That way your apple pie filling is not overly liquidy. That's just pieces of ice that didn't quite melt, which is fine, because I was trying to stop the cooking of the apples quickly. I would normally let Outdoor Johnny strain the apples and pull the ice out, but he had to have a nap, apparently. So, slacking on the job over there. See, you can see it's nice and thick now. So what we're gonna do is we're going to add, there we go, add the lemon juice and cook it for another minute. Get it all nice and heated. We add apples. And you're just cooking your apples until they're heated through. So really not much time at all. It does not take long. Turn that down on low. I'm just gonna let that sit there for a minute while I get this clear. That should be about right. All right, now, all day long I've had this we've had our jars sitting in this water, okay, and it's been boiling. I boiled it for 10 minutes. And now it's time to fill our jars. So what we need to do is just take this and kind of pour it out. Remember, this is all still very hot. Okay, then I wipe down my countertop, so we're good to go there. This is the one part that I don't let Johnny help with. These jars are so hot, and everything right now has to be done fairly quickly. You don't want things getting too cold. I think I have enough jars over here already prepared, but if I don't, I have a whole nother one sitting over there on my cutting board that is prepared, just in case. You always want to make sure your jars are sanitized so you don't accidentally poison your family. Hold on. this. It's like a whole set on Amazon. It's pretty handy to fill your jars. And now you just scoop your filling in. That's all we're gonna do here. Right at a 1/4 inch of headspace. A little bit more. And I should have I had a handy little poker thing, but if you don't have one or you can't find yours, this wooden spoon with a thin handle will do just fine. You just kind of poke it down in there to remove the air bubbles. And then all I'm gonna do is wipe the rim and put the lid on, and then I will come back when I have these filled. All right, as you can see, I got all of my jars nice and filled. And so now you just want to wipe the rims with some water. Just put it on a paper towel to make sure that they're good and clean before you put the can on there, the lids. And then all you have to do kind of want because we're water bathing, you want the jar lids to be a little warm so they're ready to go. So I just take them a couple at a time and I kind of spread them out, and I use my handy dandy tongs. And this water's not quite boiling, but it's nice and warm from when I sanitize the jars. And I just go ahead, put those right on there. I sanitized the lids earlier today. I just pull them out because they get too hot to try to deal with, and I put them on a sanitized surface, and then I just try to heat up the rims so that the lid will seal better. And then you put your lids on, the rings on, and you just kind of want them finger tight. You don't want them too tight. You also don't want them to be too loose. And then you take this big old pot of water, turn things back on high, and you just set it right down in here. You want to make sure 2 inches of water covers these lids. I'm gonna have 2 inches. And then you let it go ahead and start boiling. And when it comes to a full boil, that is when you can go ahead and start your timer. Until then, it's just sitting in the water working on getting nice and hot. So I will show you when it's full boiling, and then I'll show you when it's done. So stay tuned. All right, I promised you guys to see what it would look like when it was boiling. I have one of these lids, it's just a silicone cover that I got. Ooh, that's hot. And it works perfect for canning. But that is what you want to see. And once you see that, it's fogging up my camera. Then you can start your timer. Until then, do not start the timer. Okay, and we are back. This is the final product. So you know that they're sealed when you push down and there is no popping. So this one just hasn't sealed yet, but it should. And then the rest of them are all, this one's not quite. This one is, but you can hear this popping. You don't want that, but you let them sit there for 24 hours and they should seal. If they don't, you just eat that one. Ring the bell for notifications. Thank you for joining us on Outdoor Vert. Press the like and subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications.
Mom, what are you doing?
What are they supposed to do, Johnny?
I have apple pie.
Hey, what are they supposed to do? What do you tell them to do?
Fishes by a boat.
All right.
Mom.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you on our next adventure.